Okay, hello class. Good morning. So welcome back. So now naana ta sa pang midterm na module. So congratulations guys. You still survived the prelim. So for the midterm, we will begin our lesson about civil engineering and other professions. So our desired learning outcomes would be letter A, to understand how civil engineering is related to other disciplines of engineering, and B, to have a knowledge of the scope of structural engineering in the field of civil engineering as a special career. Okay, so when you heard the word structural engineering, ano yung unang pumapasok sa isipan nyo? I think most of you would think that structural engineering is a branch of civil engineering which is so very hard, mahirap. Well, I think yes. So, isa siya sa branches ng civil engineering na napaka-importante. Kumbaga, siya ang pinaka pundasyon sa civil engineering profession. So, sa mga kakilala ko or sa mga batchmate ko, I think ilan lang or sa aming graduate, parang iisa lang yata yung naging structural engineer sa amin. Kumbaga, ang structural engineering is para lang sa mga may brain or mautak or yung mga tinatawag na matatalino or yung mga nasa top or best of the best, mga ganun. So, ano nga ba yung structural engineering? So, structural engineering deals with planning of positions, layout of different elements and design, determination of size, shape, and material of components such that safety and serviceability requirements are not sacrificed, yet economy is considered. It involves determination of support, reactions, member forces and moments, deflection and deformations. So as you go along, when you are in your higher years, there's a subject called structural analysis and designs. So you will be familiar with the term support, reactions, forces, moments, deflection, and deformations. So mostly ito yung mga kino-compute or ina-analyze ng isang structural engineering sa isang infrastructure. Mostly dapat yung support mo is akma sa design or yung mga dimension ng mga columns, beams mo ay dapat kayang i-withstand ang mga reactions, mga forces and moments, deflection, saka mga deformations na maaring mangyari sa isang structure. Okay? So, this picture is one of the tallest building in the whole world. So, I think familiar mo sa building na to. It's called the Burj Khalifa. So, nasa Middle East siya. And in this part, lower left, is one of the tallest building in the Philippines. I think ang tawag dito ay Federal Tower Land. So, ang nag-develop nito ay Federal Land na company. So, ito yung nasa, hindi ko nagkamali, nasa 200 plus or 300 plus meters high itong building na to. So, makikita siya sa Port Bonifacio sa Manila. Okay? So, structural engineering depends upon a detailed knowledge of loads, physics, and materials to understand and predict how structures support and resist self-weight and imposed loads. So, dapat knowledgeable ka about sa mga loads, kung paano kinocompute yung mga loads. So, ano-ano ba yung mga loads na yon? Merong tinatawag na dead loads at mga live loads. So, yung dead loads, kumbaga sa dead, patay. Ano ibig sabihin ng patay? So, siya yung mga parts na hindi gumagalaw. Or kumbaga sa building, yung sarili niyang weight is considered as dead load. So, ibig sabihin, kahit na anong mangyari, yung loads ng dead load as is pa rin. Hindi nagbabago or hindi tumataas, hindi rin bumababa. Okay, so ang live loads naman is yung mga tinatawag na movable loads like wind loads, earthquake loads, seismic loads, weight ng mga ng mga equipment, at syempre yung weight din ng mga tao, considered as live loads. So yung mga live loads, yun yung mga gumagalaw na nasa loob ng building na pwede mong ilipat from one place to another. So andyan din yung mga equipment, appliances, mga ganun. So yung mga ganung loads, so sa during analysis, consider yung yon para sa sa design. And of course, syempre yung mga materials na gagamitin, so dapat predict yon sa isang structures. So sa planning stage pa lang, dapat alam mo na, nabivisualize mo na. Okay. Dapat yung structures mo is kayang i-resist yung mga ganong loads. So some example of structural structure is dams, bridges, stadiums, auditoriums, multi-story buildings are analyzed and designed. So, yun mostly yung ginagawa ng isang sa structural engineering. So, most analysis and design. So, kumbaga, kung walang structure ang isang building or infrastructure, so useless ang isang building. Kumbaga, para sa tao. So, imagine ang tao walang skeleton or mga buto. So, paano ka tatayo? Kahit maganda yung muscle mo, mga cells mo, tissues mo, dugo mo, useless ka kung wala kang buto. You cannot stand on your own. So, ganun din ang sa building. So, napaka-importante ng isang structure. So, iyon ang halimbawa ng importance ng isang structural engineering. So, dapat ang isang building, kahit gaano pa siya kaganda, makatayo siya sa sarili niyang mga paa. Which is, paa is pundasyon naman sa structures. So, iyon yung importansya ng structural engineering sa construction. Okay, so let's go to structural engineer. So, structural engineer ensure that the design satisfies a given design intent predicated on safety or serviceability, and responsible for making creative and efficient use of funds and materials to achieve these goals. Okay, so who among you wants to become structural engineer? Meron ba? I hope sana meron. Kahit at least mga 5. So when you choose structural engineering or a structural engineer, so most probably yung mga company na pwede nyo applyan is mga consultancy firm na mga company. Usually sila international base. Usually nag-o-office lang sila sa Philippines pero yung mga company is international na mga pangalan, which is mga nagde-design sila ng mga iba't ibang mga infrastructure around the world. So yun nga, as structural engineer dapat i-satisfy mo yung mga set of standards or codes galing sa iba't ibang mga agency. Gaya ng Building Codes of the Philippines, then may mga codes din from National Structural Codes of the Philippines. Meron din yung mga sa Association of Structural Engineer yata. Meron din mga codes yun na sinusunod. Then syempre dapat yung design mo is safe at saka serviceability. So ibig sabihin ng safety, so dapat kahit na magkaroon ng disgrasya, safe pa rin, o yung mga taong nag-occupy nung structure is safe or malayo sa aksidente. When you say naman serviceability, so dapat yung mga elements or components ng structure is functional or nagagamit. Halimbawa sa isang building, So kunwari ang beam mo nagkaroon ng deflections or deformation. So ano mangyayari sa mga ah, elements nandun gaya ng bintana or mga pinto. So usually nangyayari doon mahirapan kang isarado or i-lock or i-open. So yun yung isang kino-consider sa design. So dapat sa design mo hindi maapektuhan yung serviceability ng isang structure. Okay. Medyo mabigat ang responsibilidad ng isang structural engineer. Kumbaga kahit gaano kaganda yung design or vision ng isang architect, kung hindi maganda yung sa structural engineer o kung hindi maayos yung kaka-design ng structure ng isang structural engineer, maging useless lahat. So ganon ka-importante ang isang structural engineer. So what does a structural engineer do? Okay, number one, ginagawa nila is seismic design of bridges, buildings, and dams. So dapat daw yung mga bridges, buildings, mga dams na tinatayo can withstand the seismic or yung mga earthquake load. So kumbaga pag dumating ang isang lindol, hindi siya basta-basta bibigay or magko-collapse. Kasama rin dyan dapat yung sa tinatawag na liquefaction, kung saan yung lupa is masyadong saturated na pwede siyang mag-cause ng collapse once na magkaroon ng lindol. One example of liquefaction is katong may isang building somewhere in Manila yata na after lumindol nag-collapse siya sa pundasyon. But yung structure mismo is buo pa rin. Ang bumigay lang yung pinaka ibaba or pundasyon. That's because of the liquefaction. So another thing is it retrofits of old buildings and dams to resist earthquakes. So mostly about earthquake, kinakatakutan talaga yung earthquakes. So retrofit, ibig sabihin, yung mga lumang buildings pinapatibay. Or kumbaga, yung dating poste niya hanggang second floor lang, tapos nire-retrofit para maging kaya na niya ang hanggang 3 story. Ganun. So dapat yung dams mo, ganito. Meron pa yung water pressure, then may earth pressure pa dito. Daming pressure, no? Then pag nagka-earthquake pa, dapat kaya niya yan i-withstand lahat. Kumbaga sa dapat hindi siya basta-basta tutumba. So, sobrang daming pressure. Kaya nyo ba yun? So, ano sa tingin nyo? Okay ba ang structural engineering? So, try to evaluate yourself kung okay ba siya para sa inyo. Kumbaga sa malaki ang kitaan pag structural engineer ka. Kasi kumbaga limited lang, kakaunti lang ang nagiging structural engineer sa Philippines. Kumbaga halos karamihan ng mga civil engineer pagka-graduate or pagpasa ng board exam na andun sila sa mga general applications ng civil engineer. So iba talaga pag meron kang specialization or under ka sa specialized structural engineer. Okay, so next, brief history. So structural derives from Latin word structus, which means to pile, build, assemble. Okay? So parang Lego. Pile mo muna, build mo, then assemble. So the first use of the term structure was dated c. 1440. So structural engineering dates back to 2700 BC before Christ. So when the step pyramid for Pharaoh Djoser was built by Imhotep. So this is the step pyramid. So biruin mo 2700 years before Christ. And yet this pyramid is hanggang ngayon buhay na buhay pa or nakatayo pa. So, ganun kagaling ang mga structural engineer before. So, itong mga pyramid nito, wala pa itong mga reinforcement or walang mga bakal. So, ang galing nila, How do they do it? Ngayon, konting lang, mga structures, sira agad. Lalo yung mga design sa mga dating administrasyon, mga dikes, mga project. Konting bagyo lang, sira na agad. Mga bridges, kalsada. Si Yolanda lang, dumaan. Wasak. Pero ito, unbelievable. Alive na alive pa siya. Okay? So hopefully ganyan yung mga type ng structure na ma-design ninyo when you pursue your career to structural engineering. Kahit ilang thousand of years na dumating, buhay pa rin. Can withstand the forces of nature. Kahit pa magkaroon ng Star Wars, buhay na buhay pa rin yung structures. Kahit ilang year na yung dumating. Okay, so next. Who is the pioneer of the use of iron in structural engineering? So that is Mr. Gustav Eiffel. So, ang isa sa mga itinayo niya is, which is I think you are familiar with, nasa Paris. Isang sikat na tourist attraction sa Paris, which is called from his name, Eiffel Tower. So it is ang materials na ginamit dyan is pure made of iron. So ganun katibay din no. So it is 100% made of iron. Galing. Sana maging rin, inspirasyon nyo si Gustav Eiffel. Makadesign ng ganito rin na structure. Okay, so next. Structural analysis. So when you go to your higher years, so you will have subject structural design or structural analysis. So ito yung mostly ginagawa ng isang structural engineer. So sa structural analysis, it's about developments in the understanding of materials and structural behavior in the later part of the 20th century have been significant, with development of topics such as fracture mechanics, earthquake engineering, composite materials, temperature effects on materials, dynamics and vibration, fatigue, creep, and others. The increasing range of different structures and the increasing complexity of those structures has led to increasing specialization of structural engineers. So as you can see sa atong sample pictures, so sa design aspect, so ginagamitan to ng isang software. So marami nang ginagamit na software ngayon. Dati Revit. So i-analyze mo yung mga loads. So kumbaga ito yung beams, ito yung mga columns. So merong mga loads diyan na tawag na dead loads or live loads or combination. Then we have the earthquake loads, wind loads, which is acting on the columns naman sila. So ngayon sa analysis, i-compute mo yung mga loads gaya sa mga reaction dito sa mga support. So this part is called the support. Then i-compute mo dyan yung mga axial load, yung mga reaction, then the moment. So ito yung mga forces na nag-act sa isang structure. So itong structure na to is frame type. Okay? So this is the foundation. So as you go along, ituturo sa inyo yung mga details. So how to analyze a structure. So itong example na to, may slab siya, no? So yung mga kulay-kulay na yan, siguro yan yung mga loads. So usually meron naman mga limits. Kung makikita nyo sa NSCP book, andun yung mga limits kung paano kino-compute yung mga loads. Then, ang tong revised na NSCP, I think, 2015 yung latest, which is because of the Typhoon Yolanda. So, dati, ang wind loads na maximum is nasa 200 plus yata. Ngayon is sobra ng, mataas, abot na yata ng 280 or 320 kph, di ko sure. So, kaya na-amend yung, NSCP book. So, when sa computation naman, by section naman yung ginagawa. So, hindi naman yan as a whole. Pero kung may mga software, as a whole building. Dali na lang yan. Okay, let's go to structural failure. So, structural design for a building must ensure that the building is able to stand up safely, able to function without excessive deflections or movements which may cause fatigue of structural elements, cracking or failure of fixtures, fittings or partitions, or discomfort for occupants. So it must account for movements and forces due to temperature, creep, cracking, and imposed loads. So for system that obeys Hooke's load, extension produced is directly proportional to the load. So if it exceeds Hooke's, a structure is called as failure structure. So usually during design, no? So isa sa computation, di ba, yung mga load, yung ina-analyze. So kapag nag-design ka, dapat yung mga members mo, structural members or elements, can withstand those loads. So dapat kaya niyang i-carry. Kumbaga sa tao, ano lang yung maximum na pwedeng buhatin ng isang tao, which I think times 2 lang sa kanyang weight. Tama ba? So kung times 3 na sa weight ng tao yung kanyang dinadala or kini-carry, so ano mangyari sa tao? Magpipeli siya, babagsak. So ganun din sa So ganun yung structural failure. So kung ano lang yung kaya niya, capacity niya na i-carry, yun lang yung dapat. So pag sumobra doon, magkakaroon na ng structural failure. So nakuha. So dapat kung ano lang yung design mo, maximum design or limits, yun lang dapat. Huwag papasobrahan. Kasi ang sobra ay nakakasama. Okay? Para sa relasyon nyo. Relasyong pag-ibig. Diba? So ang pwede lang ninyong mahalin ay isa. Pag sumobra sa isa, dalawa, tatlo, ano nangyari? Sira ang relasyon nyo. So ganun din yun sa structure. Kakaroon ng failure. Good, daga na pag nakarelate. Okay, so next. So these are some example of failure modes. So we have the stress. Ito yung mga modes of failure: deflection, buckling, creep, fracture, wear, and yielding. So stress. So kapag na-stress ka na, nagkakaroon na ng failure. Tama? Yes. So huwag ka magpapa-stress. Deflection. Itong mga modes of failure will be discussed to your higher years sa inyong design. So, we will not go into details. So, I will just show you some examples of those failure. So, kita nyo yung beam nagkaroon ng crack, which is due to stress, wear, or yielding. So, ito naman yung poste. So, bumigay yung kanyang sa gitna. Then, this is structure, yung mga columns din niya bumigay. So, this may be because of earthquake. Okay, another failure modes. So, ito. Yung beam din, Ito, buckling and yielding and creep. Yan, sama-sama siya dito. Then, etong bahay, ang tibay nung structure niya, pero ang bumigay sa kanya is yung kanyang pundasyon. Maybe that's because of liquefaction or yung soil bearing capacity ng lupa is hindi sumobra. Then this other picture is kanang sa bridge naman. So hanggat maaari, ito yung mga iniiwasan na mangyari ng isang structural engineer. Pero meron yung mga time na hindi may iwasan na kahit gaano kalakas or yung design mo, bibigay at bibigay pa din. So parang relasyon ulit. Kahit gaano ka-strong relationship kayo, pag dumating yung tukso, bibigay at bibigay pa din. Ahihi. Diba? Tama? So ganun din yun. So parang relatable ang structural engineering sa ano no? Sa buhay-buhay. Mga buhay pag-ibig ninyo. Okay, let's go to next lesson. Okay, structural elements. So what are the structural elements composed of a building or structure? So number one, ties. So a ties is members that are subjected to axial tension forces only. So load is applied to ties only at the ends. So ties cannot resist flexural forces. So ties. So ties, ito yung makikita nyo sa ano, sa mga columns. Okay. So check nyo lang sa internet sa itsura ng ties. Then we have these struts. So those members that are subjected to axial compression forces only. So like ties, struts can be loaded only at their ends and cannot resist flexural forces. So halos pasim lang sila sa ties ng purpose. Kumbaga itong ties para sa column, struts is for beams. Okay, another element is the beams and girders. So these members that are primarily subjected to flexural forces, so they usually are thought of as being horizontal members that are primarily subjected to gravitative forces, but there are frequent exceptions such as inclined rafters. So I'm sure familiar mo sa beams and girders. So ito ang example sa beams, girder. So girder, ano rin yan? Beams. Tinawag lang siyang girders para i-define na sa isang main beams. Okay? So usually sa beams maraming tawag dyan. Iba-iba. So next, columns. So those members that are primarily subjected to axial compression forces. So a column may be subjected to flexural forces also. So columns usually are thought of as being vertical members, but they may also be inclined. So this is the column, yung mga nakatayo. So flexural forces dito sa taas or sa baba. Then pwede rin sa axial or flexural forces din dito. Forces, ganyan. Okay. Then we have the diaphragms. Diaphragms are structural components that are flat plates. Okay, so mata sa diaphragm, no? Okay, next. Okay, let's go to structural materials. So what are the structural materials? So structural engineering depends on the knowledge of materials and their properties. So in order to understand how different materials support and resist loads. So structural materials are materials used or studied primarily for their mechanical properties. So as opposed to their electronic, magnetic, chemical, or optical characteristics. So this can include a material's response to an applied force, whether this response is elastic or plastic, its hardness and strength. So syempre when you design, so depende pa rin yan sa gagamitin yung materials. Okay? So different kinds of materials ay mas kanya-kanya rin yung advantages or disadvantages kung saan mo siya gagamitin, kung saang part ng structure mo siya gagamitin. Okay, so what are those common structural materials? So unang-una dyan yung iron. So iron, marami rin yung types of iron, so hindi lang basta-basta iron. Isang type ng iron is wrought iron. is the simplest form of iron and it is almost pure iron. So typically less than 0.15% carbon. So pure daw siya, purong iron. So purong bakal, solid. So it usually contains some slag. So its uses are almost entirely obsolete and it is no longer commercially produced. So wrought iron is very poor in pairs. It is ductile, malleable, and tough, so it does not corrode as easily as steel. So mostly daw hindi na siya ginagamit ngayon, wrought iron. So I think gamit to dati sa mga pipes yata. So ngayon hindi na siya commercially available sa mga local market. Wala na siya, phase out na, kumbaga. So another type of iron is called cast iron. So is a brittle form of iron which is weaker in tension than in compression. So by the way guys, I think you're not familiar with the term tension and compression. So as you would go your structural analysis, so you discuss what is tension and what is compression. So to give you an overview, so tension, so usually it is a force. Kumbaga sa the word na pull or hila. So kapag hinila mo yung pinto, example lang, so anong force ang exert mo? Yun ang tinatawag na tension, yung pull. So kung push naman, yun ang tinatawag na compression. Okay, so kumpara sa duyan, so kung nakahiga ka sa duyan, so ano yung mga force na nag-act sa lubid ng duyan? So yun ang tinatawag na tension. Okay, so maliwanag ang pagkaiba ng tension sa compression. So kung ang tension ay pull, compression ay push, parang ganun. So ganun na concept. So it has a relatively low melting point, so good fluidity, castability, excellent machinability, and wear resistance. Though almost entirely replaced by steel in building structures, so cast irons have become an engineering material with a wide range of applications, so including pipes, machine, and car parts. So cast iron retains high strength in fires despite its low melting point, so it does not corrode as easily as steel. Okay, so ang cast iron guys is usually ginagamit lang siya sa mga pipes, sa mga pipeline. Okay, so yun lang yung alam ko na pinagagamitan ng cast iron. So high strength and fires daw, so fire resistant siya. Hindi siya basta-basta natutunaw. Okay, another type of iron is steel. So steel is used extremely widely in all types of structures due to its relatively low cost, high strength to weight ratio, and speed of construction. So it is a ductile material and equally strong in tension and compression. So it is weak in fires and must be protected in most buildings. So how we protect steel? So ina-add on siya sa mga concrete. Despite its high strength to weight ratio, steel buildings have as much thermal mass as similar concrete buildings. So one disadvantage of steel is very prone to corrosion. So madali lang daw siyang kalawangin. So may mga ina-apply na mga chemicals or materials para hindi basta-basta kalawangin ang isang steel. Isa na dyan is applyan mo siya ng steel converter or rust protector. Usually papahid mo lang siya. And after which, pahiran mo na naman ng epoxy primer para hindi siya basta-basta kalawangin. Well, of course, bago mo siya pahiran ng epoxy primer, dapat malihan mo muna siya. Ma-flatten. Dapat may smooth ang kanyang surface. Para kung magkaroon ng moisture, yung moisture, dali-dali lang na magpo-flow or mahuhulog. Hindi siya ma-stuck sa surface ng steel. So hindi siya basta-basta dapat applyan mo agad ng ng pintura. So dapat mag-epoxy primer ka muna. Okay, so another type of iron is the stainless steel, which is an iron carbon alloy. So there are different types of stainless steel, so containing different proportions of iron, carbon, molybdenum, nickel. So it has similar structural properties to steel, so almost same lang daw sa steel, although its strength varies significantly. So it is rarely used for primary structure and more for architectural finishes and building cladding. So hindi siya ginagamit sa sa mga main members ng structures. So usually lang siya pang finishes. So it's highly resistant to corrosion and staining. So hindi siya basta-basta kinakalawang, and hindi rin siya basta-basta mamantsahan. So usually ginagamit sa mga railing, sa mga handrails sa stairs, sa mga balcony, terraces. So yung parang kumikinang. Sure familiar mo sa mga ganyan. Lalo na sa mga PWD na ramp, doon siya ginagamit. So ayun, gamit ng steel. Okay, so another materials for to consider for structural design is concrete. So I'm sure you are familiar with the term concrete. So concrete is used widely in building and civil engineering structures. So due to its low cost, flexibility, durability, and high strength. It also has high resistance to fire. So concrete is a non-linear, non-elastic, and brittle material. It is strong in compression and very weak in tension. So it can resist compression forces, no? Kaya minsan yung concrete nire-reinforce. So lalagyan siya ng bakal kasi ang bakal is very high resistance naman sa tension. Kumbaga dapat lagi silang partner nung concrete sa bakal. So useless ang concrete mo kung walang bakal. So kahit gaano pa kalakas yung concrete mo kung walang bakal, wala pa rin. So because it has essentially zero strength and tension, it's almost always used as reinforced concrete. So ang concrete is a mixture of sand, aggregate, cement, and water. So hindi lang siya basta-basta hinahalo ang sand, aggregate, cement, and water ha. So dapat siya, may tamang timpla or tamang mixture para ma-attain mo yung magandang quality ng concrete. So it is placed in a mold or form as a liquid, and then it sets goes up due to a chemical reaction between the water and cement. So the hardening of the concrete is called hydration. So the reaction is exothermic, gives off heat. So concrete increases in strength and continually from the day it is cast. So its strength depends highly on how it is mixed. So poured, cast, compacted, cured, and whether or not any admixtures were used in the mix. So it can be cast into any shape that a form can be made for. So its color, quality, and finish depend upon the complexity of the structure. So the materials used for the form and the skill of the worker. So ang concrete, meron tinatawag na mga classes. May class A, double class double A, class B, class C, and class D. So yung mga class na yon na mixture ng concrete, so hindi mo siya basta-basta mimix lang. So may purpose siya kung anong type ng structures. So kung columns, beams, mga ganun, usually mga class A. Then yung mga members na hindi nag-carry ng mga load, so sa mga mabababang classes. I'm sure nakakita na kayo ng concrete, no? So familiar na kayo sa concrete. So another materials na kinoconsider sa structural design is aluminum. So aluminum is a soft, lightweight, malleable metal. So aluminum has 1/3 the density and stiffness of steel. It is ductile and easily machined, cast, and extruded. So corrosion resistant is excellent due to a thin surface layer of aluminum oxide that forms when the metal is exposed to air. So effectively preventing further oxidation, the strongest aluminum alloys are less corrosion resistant due to galvanic reactions with alloyed copper. Aluminum is used in some building structures, mainly sa mga facades lang, and very widely in aircraft engineering because of its good strength to weight ratio. So it is relatively expensive material. So magkaiba yung aluminum sa stainless steel ha. So hindi sila parehas. Okay? So mas magaan ang aluminum kumpara sa stainless steel. Magkaiba rin sila itsura. Stainless steel na makintab. Okay, so another types of material is the timber o mga kahoy, which is the oldest of structural materials and though mainly supplanted by steel. So masonry and concrete. So it's still used in significant number of buildings. So the properties of timber are non-linear and very variable. So depende pa rin siya sa quality, treatment of wood, and type of wood supplied. So wood is strong in tension and compression but can be weak in bending due to its fibrous structure. So wood is relatively good in fire as it cars, which provides the wood in the center of the element with some protection and allows the structure to retain some strength for a reasonable length of time. So ang pinaka I think matibay na wood is called the ironwood or magkuno or same lang bala sa balili, balili tree, ang ganon. Another sa mga matitibay na kahoy is yakal, kamagong, yung mga yon. So I think yung mga ganon na kahoy is ngayon is available pa sa sa mga bundok dito sa Mati City. Kahit nga dun sa amin malapit eh. Malapit sa mga bundok, marami pang mga ganong klase ng kahoy. Which is sayang kasi ano lang, ginagawa lang illegal. Kinukuha ng mga illegal loggers. So kumbaga yung mga ganong puno is very endemic. Kumbaga dito lang sa Pilipinas matatagpuan. Isa sa pinakamahal na kahoy is yung ironwood. Kulay red yung niyan, mga grains, maganda. Yun yung ginagawang wood tiles. Tingin ko yung bamboo rin is kasama rin sa mga, hindi siya kasama sa timber pala. So usually yung mga structure na gawa sa timber, ang ganda. Gandang tignan. Sa amin nga sa Luzon, pag yung bahay mo is made of timber or wood, sabihin ng mga tao, ay, napakayaman ng tao na to. Kasi puro kahoy yung bahay niya. Gawa sa kahoy, mga ganun. Pero pagdating ko dito, sa province, dito sa sa Mati, pag ang bahay mo is kahoy, parang lang, normal lang pala yun dito. Kasi sobrang abundant ng mga kahoy, no? Ang daming kahoy sa paligid. So, napakamura lang ng mga kahoy na yon dito. Kaya nung patay ako ng bahay, yung bahay namin is made of wood. Kasi pag pinicture ko, pinakita ko doon sa amin, sa Luzon, sabi ng mga tao doon, wow, ganda ng bahay ko kasi gawa ng kahoy. Yamanin, ganun. Pero hindi nila alam, napakamura lang pala ng kahoy dito sa Mati. So, that's it. Kaya, I admire structures made of wood and timber. Ganun tignan. Napaka-unique. Okay, so another materials is about composites. So, composite materials are used increasingly in bridges, especially for conservation of old structures. So, composites are often anisotropic. They have different material properties in different directions. So, as they can be laminar materials, they most often behave non-linearly and will fail in a brittle manner when overloaded. So, they provide extremely good strength to weight ratios but are also very expensive. So, the manufacturing processes, which are often extrusion, do not currently provide the economical flexibility that concrete or steel provide. So, the most commonly used in structural applications are glass reinforced plastic. So, example ng mga composites yung mga fiberglass, plywood, mud bricks, glass which is reinforced by plastic. So, yun ang mga materials na composites. So, they have different material properties. Okay. So, another is masonry. So, masonry has been used in structure for thousands of years and can take the form of stone, brick, or blockwork. So, stone is a type of masonry. So, masonry is very strong in compression but cannot carry tension because the mortar between bricks or blocks is unable to carry tension. Because it cannot carry structural tension, it also cannot carry bending, so masonry walls become unstable at relatively small heights. So usually kapag nililay yung isang masonry composed of bricks or concrete hollow blocks, usually may mga bakal pa rin, may reinforcement para makarry pa rin yan yung mga tension forces. Okay, I'm sure naman nakita naman ng mga masonry, mga riprap, mga bato, ganun. So historically, masonry was constructed with no mortar or with lime mortar. In modern times, cement-based mortars are used, so the mortar glues blocks together. So ang galing, no? Glue lang ginagamit ng unang panahon sa pag as mortars ng mga bato. And also smooths out the interface between the blocks. So merong mga interlocking. So ngayon ano na, meron na mga tinatawag na mga smart blocks or mga smart masonry blocks. Or yung isa sa mga vlog ni Slater Young, yung light blocks na tinatawag niya. Very mas magaan siya kumpara sa hollow block. So marami ng bagong technology ginagamit para sa sa masonry. So hindi na lang hollow blocks. So I'm sure yung iba dito is hindi pa siya commercially available dito sa Mati. Pero sa Manila, sa mga nagtrabaho kong company sa subdivision, marami ng kind of masonry blocks na ginagamit. Isa na nga doon yung masonry blocks, which is pag install napakadali lang. Para lang siyang Lego piece. Pagpapatong-patongin mo lang siya, tapos malalak na siya. Then lalagyan lang ng konting grout. Then yung iba kahit wala nang bakal eh. Then lalagyan na lang ng mga mortars. Then dali na. Then sa plastering, napakatipid niya sa plaster. Kasi yung mga usually ang lalagyan na ng plaster is yung mga dugtungan. Kaya napakabilis lang siya install. Kumpara sa traditional na mga hollow blocks, matagal pa siyang ikabit. Yung light blocks ni Slater Young, yung ginamit daw niya sa Skypad. Ang ganda. If you're not familiar, try to watch the vlogs of Slater Young. Marami kayong matutunan din. Hopefully. Then sa pag-install ng masonry, hindi siya basta-basta ini-install or binibiyak. So kailangan hindi pa rin masisira yung niya, yung design strength. So masonry daw, like concrete, has good sound insulation, so properties and high thermal masses. So but it's generally less energy intensive to produce. So it's just as energy intensive as concrete to transport. Okay? What are the structural engineering specializations? So number one, we have the building structures. So structural building engineering includes all structural engineering related to the design of buildings. So it's the branch of structural engineering that is close to the architecture. So ito yung building structures. So ito is Opera House sa Australia. Ito naman is Marina Bay Sands sa Singapore, and this is the saan to? Local lang to. Saan makita? Sa Clark Sports Stadium. Ganda, no? So ito yung mga tinatawag na building structures. So kumbaga itong mga structures na to is very iconic sa kani-kanilang mga bansa. So hopefully in the future, isa sa inyo makapag-design ng mga gantong klaseng structures, no? So good luck with that. Very iconic. So hopefully sa Mati rin sana may mata yung gantong iconic na structures na kayang i-withstand yung earthquake. Since ang Mati ay lies on a fault line. So I think mayroong 3 fault line sa Mati. So that is the challenge for structural engineering. Kaya if you can notice, wala masyadong matataas na building sa Mati because of the fault line. Okay. So what are the another specialization of structural engineering? We have the earthquake engineering structures. So earthquake engineering structures are those engineered to withstand various types of hazardous earthquake exposures at the sites of their particular locations. So if you will notice under earthquake engineering structures, so kapag nagkaroon ng lindol, ito with vibration control devices, ito without. Okay, if you will notice, kung nagkaroon doon ng lindol, so nakikita nyo itong mga forces na to. Ito yung mga walang vibration control devices. So ang laki ng movement ng isang building, no? Compare sa mayroong mga vibration control devices. So very minimal lang yung galaw niya. So, ang galaw naman ng building pag nagkaroon ng lindol, parang sumasayaw yan eh. Itong nasa right portion is an example of earthquake resistance engineering structures. So, it is like a pendulum, no? Na once na magkaroon ng lindol, kumbaga i-resist niya yung movement ng earthquake. So, kumbaga nagkaroon ng tsa-tsa, magtsa-tsa lang siya. So, itong vibration control devices is makita to sa sa building sa Taiwan, sa highest building sa Taiwan, which is Taipei 101. Nandun siya sa pinaka-top. Magkaroon ng lindol, siya yung taga-resist nung earthquake forces. Okay, try to research this vibration control devices or Taipei 101. I think mapapanood niyo siya sa Discovery Channel or sa BBC, yung mga mega structures. Every Tuesday, mga 10 p.m. Hindi ko alam kung anong channel. Marami kayong matutunan dyan about structural engineering. On how they build it. Mga ganun. Okay? So, ang ganda. Ang ganda ng mga structural wonders of the world. So, ito rin. Ang ganda rin. Hindi ko alam kung meron ng ganito sa Pilipinas. Pero parang wala pa yata. Usually, ang meron lang na available na alam ko yung tinatawag nilang ball or yung merong mga roller sa mga pundasyon na pag nagkaroon ng lindol sumasayaw. Or na-try nyo naman punta sa mga mall or sa G-Mall sa Davao sa malaking building na pag may mga dumaan ng sakyan parang pakiramdam nyo yumayanig yung floors. Yun. Ibig sabihin nun meron siyang vibration control devices. Gumagalaw siya. Very plastic yung structure. Okay, so next we have the civil engineering structures. So another specialization of structural engineering we have which is related to the built environment. So ito na yung sa construction, which is another is the bridges, dams, roads, railways, pipelines, power stations, and tunnel. So those are some of the civil engineering structures na under ng structural engineering. Kumbaga ito yung mga structures na very needed sa society or in a nation building. So pag meron ka mga ganitong structures, ibig sabihin progressive ka na nation. Okay? Lalo na kung railways mo is mga bullet trains, ganun. So hopefully sa Mindanao, meron na yata mag-start next year, 2021, the Mindanao Railway Project. Magmumula from Davao City, Tagum, going to Jensan or Zamboanga. Then bridges sa Samal, Davao to Samal bridges. Na parang design niya isa London Bridge. Na pag may dumaan na barko, tataas yung bridge. Ibang ganda. So sa roads, so ang daming ongoing project ngayon sa roads, mga coastal roads, pipelines, power stations, and tunnel. Sa Luzon, maraming tunnel na kalsada. Hindi ko alam dito sa Mindanao, parang wala pa yata akong nakita or narinig. Not familiar sa mga tunnel dito sa Mindanao. Okay, so what are the other specialization? We have the mechanical structures, which plays an essential role in designing machinery where structural integrity of the design impacts safety and reliability. So, large man-made objects, gaya ng mga eroplano, mga sakyan, from to furniture to medical equipment, requires significant design input from a structural engineer. So it applied to variety of mechanical, so movable structures which is referred to as structural mechanical engineering. So pag magtayo ka ng mga planta, yung mga planta ng ganito, usually kailangan pa rin ng guidance ng isang structural engineer. So, yung mga structural engineer na pupunta sa mga movable machineries or object, tawag na structural mechanical engineering. So, ang daming fields or industry na pwedeng puntahan ng isang structural engineering. So, kumbaga, maraming opportunities ang pwede sa kanya. So, hindi siya mababakante. Okay? So, for your activity for this week, so it is a group activity. So, you need to prepare the following: the listing thing, 20 piece rubber band, boiled egg, ruler or steel tape, electric pan, cell phone with video and internet capabilities. So, you need to prepare. And then, basahin nyo na lang sa module number 4 yung dapat nyong gawin. Okay? Para sa preparation. So, hindi ko na didetalye yung So, this is a group activity. So, usually, dapat same format with previous. So, wala na siyang format. No need to prepare a hard copy. So, ito lang. So, basahin nyo lang sa module lesson 4 kung ano yung gagawin. So, dapat sa preparation, naka-record yung video. Okay. Then, gawin nyo, you will make a structure or tower using the listing thing and rubber band. So, criteria dapat higher than 1 foot. So, the higher the better. So, kung mas mataas, kung sino pinakamataas, mas nakuha ang score. Dapat ang egg can rest and place on top without falling. So, dapat hindi mahuhulog yung iklog na nasa top. Then, do not choose any other materials not included in part A. So, ito lang dapat na mga materials ang gagamitin nyo. So, hindi kayo pwedeng gumamit ng Paco, glue, etc. Then, record video on your preparation. So, dapat recorded. So, make sure na lahat ng members ng group is sama-sama. So, that's why I group you according to your community. Kung sino yung mga mas malalapit sa inyo. Okay, then for the testing, i-reveal ko lang ang testing once na matapos na ninyo ang structure. So, after 1 week, so next meeting, so this is a live video presentation. So, first section. So, section A, siguro 9 to 10. Then, section B, 10 to 11. Then, section C, 11 to 12. So, live tayo ha. So, make sure na meron kayong magandang internet signal. Okay? And for the summary, you will describe your learning about the activities. So, pwede naman lang, yung leader na lang or kung sino yung merong malakas na internet ang kumonect sa live. Then, ang grading rubrics natin, so ito siya. So, height, design. So, we have 20 points. Sa design, 10 points. Then, testing, 30 points. So, dapat sa height, yung first, yung pinakamataas will get 20 points. Yung second, pinakamataas will get 17 points. Yung third, 14, fourth, 11, and the last. Yung 5th, 6, 7, 8, 9, yung other groups, 8 points na automatic. Then design, we have the first 10, 8, 6, etc. And for the testing, dapat napasa niya ang lahat ng test. So, mayroong 4 na test na dapat siyang ipasa. So, kung makapasa kayo ng all tests, 4 test pass, so 30 points. So, kung 3 test lang napasa nyo, we have 25. Kung 2 test, 20. And then, kung isa lang, 15. And kung wala kayo na ipasa na test, so sa trial 1 pa lang o testing 1 pa lang, bumagsak na agad yung structure nyo. So, 10 points lang inyong makukuha. Okay, so let's see. So, let's prepare your structure and see you on next meeting. Okay, so good luck and have a good day. Bye-bye.